Photographs and memories. Christmas card she sent to me. So I was talking about cameras with somebody, and it inspired me to do a little video about cameras, a little history of cameras, but mostly my history with cameras. Um, and I'm not going to do this in any kind of chronological order, mostly, but let me show you this. Da, da, da. Let me show you this. Okay. Now, when I was a kid, this is what a lot of people had. The Kodak Instamatic. It was a nice little handheld camera. It was point and shoot. I know my mother had one like it. I don't think I ever owned one, but I know I've used them. And they were great for, people would carry them around in their pockets or purses, and you could take pictures of your kids or whatever. They weren't necessarily good for the little league games or whatever. I mean, people would use them, but since it had, limited lens, it wasn't real good with distant shots and that. But for a long time, that was like the standard common camera for people. Now, sort of along the same timeline, you had another camera that people liked would be the old Polaroid, which I guess they still make. That one off to the right over there is kind of the one that's a little bigger. That's the one that's sort of like what most people had, although I think this is a newer version. Now, I can remember, like, in 7th grade, my one teacher had a Polaroid, and the early ones, you would take the picture, and then you had to put it, like, it was like I think it was like a metal sleeve you'd put it in, and you'd have to wait for a couple of minutes till it developed and took it out. Then after a while, they came out with these ones where, like they got faster. In fact, I remember now the earliest ones. I think you had a little like brush where you'd have to brush the chemicals onto it, and then you'd put them in that metal sleeve. And then they got where they'd come out and you'd actually watch them develop. That's the ones that, like that one there, it shows the film shooting out of. And I had one along those lines for a while. No idea where it is now. But now, what I have is some cameras here that I own. They're not all cameras that I have ever actually used. But let's just look at, here, this one. Not sure where I got it, but this is the infamous, yep, I don't know if you'll be able to, Brownie Hawkeye. Now this was like the camera for people like back in the 50s or so. You'll notice the flash. That's an actual old flash bulb in there. But you can see this was an attachment. You could go without it. And if you ever see like an old movie or something, you'll notice people going like this. Because you see up top there, that's view screen. You'd look down through there. And that's what this lens is here. These were not single lens reflex. So what you had to watch with a lot of the cameras when they were like that is you have that little bit of a difference between this is what you're looking through, this is what is taking the picture. But you can hear them. you know, you go snap, and again, autofocus and all that. And then here, these of course were film cameras. You'd have to wind the film forward. And in the back, you see there, you see that little window there. That would show you the film. It would show you which picture you were on, like the film, like it might have capacity for like 12 pictures. So you'd put it in, you'd put the film in, and you'd wind it, and you'd have like a number 1 there, and then you'd take a picture, you'd wind it forward. That was that. Now, an even earlier one than that. Now these, of course, this is cameras that I bought. I know I have 2 that are very much this same style. These are from like the 30s and 40s. And I know one of these, I bought it at an auction. It was like one of those where the person had died and they were selling off all his stuff. And I know when I got it, there was still film. And notice this also has that little window back there to see the film number. And I got it developed, and it was from a vacation in Mexico. The guy had never developed the film. And it was obvious it was a vacation in Mexico because there was like his wife or whoever sitting on a burro with a serape over her, and the Mexican guy standing next to the burro holding the reins. And then I know there was like other pictures, but in this, no, there, you do that. That would bring the and the now the shutter for this kind of awkward. It's up here, like later on with like the Instamax and others, they put the button back here, but this you had to like reach forward here and the I was just looking here. Well, I guess I was holding that upside down. This obviously had this that you could look through to, it's pretty much like with that other one. The other one had the lens. This you would just look through, but it would help you aim. And you'd pop this open. Let me see. This is real stiff. It's been around a while. And also I'm trying to push it the wrong way. There it goes. That is where your film would go in. Yeah. And let me see if I can. There we go. I don't know if if you can really see me pointed towards the lamp, maybe. Oh, my hand's in the way, of course. But when I click it, you might see. Did you see that little flash of light there? That would be when you do the shutter. It opens up the lens, basically. It's like taking a lens cover off, and that let the light in there, and the film was, across there. It's the same thing like that other, you had that little window there to look through. And let me put this back in the right one of those here. Let me see. This has a little label in here that says use Kodak film, Panasonic 828. It gets the picture. Okay, I'm trying to put it together in the wrong direction. There. You have to manually slide that back to lock it in place. And this one, it also has, it's kind of be interesting for, I can't get it, but it has like the original manual and stuff like that in there. But nice thing about that is I still have the box for that. And I have another one that's a slightly different model, but basically the same as that. See if it is. Yeah, not really worth looking at because it's the same. Now, we come forward a few years. And first, let's look at this. Oh, almost knocked it. This, of course, would be the more modern version of the Kodak Instamatic, except, of course, it's digital. Let's see if it has. Oh, there. Never really thought of it. Well, but it's kind of like that other one that you open and the accordioned out. And but of course, we all know. Yeah, obviously, nice thing about these is you'd look and see what you were going to take a picture of. As you all know, all digital cameras. This is a big step forward, and of course, it also you could do video. I mean, we're all pretty much familiar with these. Flash. And I'm having trouble. Okay. Couldn't remember how to turn it back off again. But yeah, so this would be like a more modern version of the Instamatic. I used to carry this around a lot because, you could just stick it in your pocket. You take it out, quick, boom. It did have a little bit of a telephoto on it. So that was good. Now another one that is mine that I got, and it'll look familiar to you, but the thing about this one too, it is sort of the modern version of, and I don't know whatever happened. I used to have a 35 millimeter film camera. It's what I used all the time, like in college, but they looked like this. And this, of course, is digital, just like that. But this you could do a lot more with because you could do settings for like speed, shutter speed, and things like that. You could change the f-stop if you know what you're doing. And of course, this at telephoto. And I have a bag full of attachments for like another lens and filters and stuff like that. But of course, that's where, and this is still a perfectly useful camera. Except then this happened. These things, we went science fiction and put the cameras in the phones. I think the battery, oh no, it didn't. And boom, you got a camera, But like I say, this one is, well, are you going to turn off? But when I upgraded from this to this, I kind of thought that one was going to be useless, but you can still like go on the internet with it and all that kind of stuff. And um, you could even still use the internet, and you can still call 911 on them. So if you still have old phones around that you no longer have phone service, they're not totally useless that way. But of course, we now got the iPhone 15, and the camera, of course, is a whole lot better, and you can do zoom. And I mean, you all are familiar with that sort of thing. But yeah, that's sort of my personal history of photography. Um, I know you're familiar with a lot of them, but I think some of you people might not have ever actually seen those earlier ones I showed. I wish I still had a Kodak Instamatic around to show you live and or Polaroid, but such is life. I hope you enjoyed this, and peace out. And recording.